fast-moving world, sports aren't just about scoring points or winning championships. For young athletes, it's a way to build mental toughness, stay active, and pick up life skills that go far beyond the court. That's where Mustapha and Yasmyne Thorpe come into the picture. At Hooper's Clinic, Mustapha Thorpe, athletic director and owner, and Yasmyne Thorpe, creative director, have poured their hearts into creating a one-of-a-kind basketball training program for kids ages 4 to 17. Their mission? To help young players not only sharpen their skills, but also embrace a healthy, balanced lifestyle. With an impressive 8,200 square foot training facility, they've built a space where kids feel supported and motivated to learn, grow, and thrive. From skill-building camps and clinics to classes that tackle the mental side of the game, Mustapha and Yasmyne are dedicated to empowering young athletes. Mustapha brings his deep knowledge of athletic development, while Yasmyne infuses creativity and energy into the program. Together, they make an unstoppable team, driven by a passion to make a positive impact on the community. Welcome to Celebrate Michigan, the show produced on the campus of Madonna University. I'm Karen Sanborn. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
So, your work sounds like a lot of fun. Can you tell me a little bit about what a typical training session looks like at Hooper's Clinic?
Yeah. Well, it all depends on, we have different facets of what we do at Hooper's Clinic. We have group training, which we try to develop the kids depending on their skill set. So we'll separate the kids in different groups, and we try to develop them where they are. So we do a lot of ball handling, learning how to create off the dribble, shooting, and then we have a league and training also during the week as well, where the things that they learn during the week they can play in the game as well. We also have a travel team as well. So yeah, we do everything.
We do a lot.
Okay.
So our Mondays to Wednesdays are our trainings. So it's more of a small group training. So it's a group of kids. So we have ages 4 to 5, 6 to 7, 8 to 10, 11 to 13, and then 14 to 17. And they're all separated into different hours. So in our small group training, we'll even separate the small groups, so it'll be like a more intense training for more talented kids and then more of like a beginner's training on the Mondays to Wednesdays.
Okay, interesting. Mm-hmm. What do you think are the unique challenges that young athletes face today, and how does Hooper's Clinic help address those challenges?
Well, I think when dealing with kids, it's the confidence level and building up their confidence, and understanding that a lot of times their confidence comes from their parents and comparing themselves to other kids. So what we try to do is make sure that we're building them up where they are, because not every kid is the same, and every kid does not develop the same as well. So what we try to do is make sure that we understand where that kid is at and develop them where they are.
Okay.
We give them confidence in their own talent and their own abilities. We don't compare them, and we try to help them not compare themselves to any other kids. That's why we have so many different groups, so they can separate into more kids like them, so they're not comparing themselves to other kids.
Sure. I mean, and they're all at different developmental ages,
Mm-hmm.
and stages in their lives,
right.
So that makes sense. How do you develop that mental toughness at all those different ages?
Well, I would say that the key component is consistency. So when a kid comes into our program, we tell the parents that it's not going to happen overnight. You have to be consistent at it. And once they start developing, they start to see a difference. That's when the confidence starts to come. And then it's a commitment. So what we try to teach is not just a game of basketball. Once you commit yourself to something, you have to stay committed to it, throughout the whole process.
And our way of helping that is by each class is 6 weeks, and you can choose to just do Mondays, or you can choose to do Mondays and Wednesdays. So it's all depending on your schedule. But we have that 6 weeks so for you to keep training,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's consistency is important.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've had a lot of success stories.
Oh, yeah.
Could you share a couple that stand out?
We've had quite a few kids that, you know, speaking about the different levels of kids that are just starting to play the game of basketball, we've been doing it quite some time. I mean, we've had testimonies with kids that didn't make the school basketball team the prior year, and then they made the basketball team the next year. So that's what we aim to do, is make sure that those kids that are left out, they have an opportunity as long as they commit themselves to the program. We've had kids that didn't make our travel team, which our travel team is very competitive. It's for the more elite kids. And they kept trying. They were in our in-house training, and they eventually made our travel team.
Oh, yay.
So, yep.
Yeah, we're still very new, so soon we'll be able to see people go off to college and see them get D1 scholarships and D2 scholarships, so we're really excited for that as well. So,
what inspired you to start this?
I did.
Yay.
It was Yasmyne. So Yasmyne started off playing basketball. She was a dancer.
I was doing a lot of things.
She was doing baton,
karate,
swim, dancing, and then she decided in 6th grade to seventh grade, was it 7? To start basketball. And I was taking her to different places, and I played the game of basketball at a high level. And for me, they weren't giving her what I thought she should have as far as learning the game of basketball, so I started off training her, and then evolved from there. And then I started training other kids that were connected to her, and that's how it started.
We actually had a different facility a couple years ago before COVID. We had to shut it down because of COVID, but we used to use the gym out of a school, and we used to have like training just like how we did before. And then after COVID, we opened our own place, and we got to expand and things like that. So.
That's so interesting. That's awesome. How do you think their experiences, the students, the players that have gone on to make other teams, how do you think their experience affected that journey?
Their confidence. You can tell, like when they go and they play with different teams, their confidence, they're stronger, everything like that. Well,
what I try to do as a coach, I try to push the kids to their maximum potential. Okay. So when they're in comparison to when they're in our program, the training might be a little bit different in comparison to what they're used to.
Okay.
So when they go to a different program or a different school setting, they might be a little bit more advanced than the other kids because we do things a little bit different.
Awesome. Awesome. We will continue talking with the team behind Hooper's Clinic when we return from a quick break. We'll talk about their cutting-edge training initiatives, the differences that they're making for aspiring athletes, and the importance of mental and physical health in sports. You won't want to miss it. Stay tuned for more on Celebrate Michigan.
It was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Hi, I'm Peter. There's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends.
Come on in! Help yourself to anything.
That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit savethefood.com.
Maria, so how's work?
It was 4th period biology. Our students just weren't getting how easily viruses spread. So Miss Bell and I had them role play a zombie virus outbreak. By the time they had all learned the lesson, all the living were dead. Hey, how's your job going?
That big sales meeting I planned? Next year, I might get to go.
Cool.
Nice. No! Oops. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Karen Sanborn. Joining me today are Mustapha Thorpe and Yasmyne Thorpe of the Hoopers Clinic. Okay, next up. What does Hoopers Clinic do to contribute to the local community beyond just training athletes?
Well, we're very much involved in the community. We have a lot of relationships with businesses in the local area. We have a lot of families that are business owners that do a large part of the community. And the most important thing is that we serve our community by helping the children as well.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just a coaches-player relationship. We also have relationships with our players and our families outside of this. So.
Oh, that's so neat. Are there any outreach programs besides just the teaching and
that
the
is in the
development?
working, so yes.
We did, yeah. We did have, it wasn't a fundraiser, it was, we donated to a organization, right? Mm-hmm. We did donate last year for Christmas, and we plan on doing that again this Christmas. So.
And so the families get involved and...
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. We've had parties to bring the community together at our gym as well.
Neat, neat. Mm-hmm. How do you keep the athletes motivated at practices and that sort of thing?
Well, you know, they are children. You know, kids come in and sometimes they're not ready to go. It's our jobs as coaches and trainers to get them motivated sometimes because, you know, we are dealing with kids at different ages. We're talking age 4 all the way up to 17. So we try to make it a fun atmosphere. We do a lot of different contests. We try to make it fun for them, but we also want to make sure that they're learning the game of basketball because that's the service that we provide.
Sure.
And that's why we provide so many different services, so it's not just so repetitive. And our skills and training isn't the same thing over and over and over again. We have different ways of, you know, trying to teach them. And also that's why we, you know, we pick our coaches very specifically just so we know we have the right coaches that are inspiring them and encouraging them in the right way and helping them.
And expecting them to practice outside of
practice. That's one of the most important things. So we can teach everything. We have a lot of our parents that will film, you know, make sure that they record what we're doing because once again, it's repetitive. You have to do the drills over and over again so you can have that consistency and build up that confidence too.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Can you share a memorable time where the athletes had an aha breakthrough moment?
I mean, there's been so many occasions. I mean, we've had kids, especially on a travel team, you know, there's different levels of players that we have on our teams. We've had quite a few kids that, you know, they might not be as developed as other kids, and then sometimes it just clicks. Where, you know, they'll have a dominant game and it's like, wow, where did that come from? And then from that point forward, they're a different type of kid on the court. So that's where that consistency comes into play because sometimes the maturation process for a kid might be different than the next kid. And sometimes it will click, and as soon as that happens, everything else starts to evolve. So.
Yeah. Is there a way that you measure success for the athletes? Like what do you look for? Like, do you have milestones that you ask them to achieve?
It's attitude, because we, you know, it's not just about winning or losing, it's the attitude towards the game. We want to make sure that they play as hard in the best way. So we want to make sure that we have the correct attitude towards the game and also towards the other team.
Okay.
You know, and what our job as coaches as well, we want to make sure that we keep the environment safe for the children. We want to make sure that we keep the environment fun for the children as well.
Okay.
So,
you mentioned videotaping. Are there any other technology that you use? Any other technologies?
well, we're pretty old school. We do have what's called shooting assist machines where, you know, you can measure how many shots that you get up and how many makes and misses that you get, and then it'll keep your percentages.
Okay.
But we're pretty old school as far as how we train our kids. Like I said before, a lot of what we do is ball handling, learning how to create off the dribble, and making sure that they understand the pressure inside the game and learning how to score in those different situations. So
It's very authentic coaches, authentic styles. So you can't really find this anywhere else.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do people learn about your program?
well, we first started off putting out signs all across Metro Detroit, so that's how we started off, and that's how we started off with our prior program. Now we don't do that. Everything is referral based. Most of our kids and families that come to us, they have been referred from another family.
Okay.
So that's how we're growing our business.
Also, we do have an AAU team, and when we go out and we play these different teams, we get to see, you know, the players and the other parents from different teams. They get to see our team, and I mean, we have a pretty good team, so they're like, oh, who's that? And, you know, they can do their research from there. We do have an Instagram. It's Hoopers Clinic, so.
Great idea. It's time for one more quick break. We'll return shortly with Hoopers Clinic, so stay tuned.
I want to see the world.
When you pick up a book,
I used to read every night to all the younger kids,
and let your imagination break free, you won't believe how much fun it can be.
let down your help.
Experience a world of adventure, excitement, and endless possibilities. Get tangled up in a good book. Explore new worlds. Read. Visit read.gov today.
So we were walking to school. I started thinking about lunch. Mom packed me turkey and cheese.
She's
I really want
smart.
cheese pizza.
Sometimes her mind wanders.
We should have a sleepover.
I remember saying, Laura?
I think I heard Mom say something.
The sign says don't walk.
Sometimes it's so overwhelming.
I really hope she doesn't
I
have
really
another
hope I
bad
don't
day
have
at
another
school
bad day at
today.
school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Yo, check out this chef, right? Right? That's so gay. That's really gay. Dude, look at those pants.
Please don't say that.
What?
Don't say that something is gay when you mean that something is dumb or stupid. It's insulting. It's like if I thought this pepper shaker was stupid and I said, man, this pepper shaker is so 16-year-old boy with a cheesy mustache. Just saying. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
So my uncle calls and he says he's dizzy and he's losing his balance. I'm like, Unc, you want me to take you to a doctor? He's like, no, I'm gonna look up the symptoms. I said, your symptoms are you're dizzy and you're losing your balance. So he said, I can't get on the internet because my arm is numb. I said, well, use your good arm and dial 911. Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love is showing symptoms of stroke, don't wait, because it might be too late. Dial 911. Time lost is brain lost.
Celebrate Michigan. I'm Karen Sanborn, and I'm joined by Mustapha and Yasmyne of Hoopers Clinic. So looking ahead, what are your aspirations for the future for Hoopers Clinic?
We definitely want to reach the community. We do plan on branching out outside the state eventually. Hope that is our hope, that we get different locations outside of the state of Michigan. And continue to grow and make sure that we're developing kids. That's the main goal, is to see if kids want to continue the game of basketball, they can go to the highest level possible.
Okay, so that's a 5-10 year look out.
Yes.
Absolutely. What role do you see Hooper's Clinic playing in the lives of the young people that you're coaching and training?
I mean, hopefully when they've made it to where they want to make it, you know, college, the NBA, the WNBA, they can look back and this is a big part or a big chapter of their life. Like, oh, I used to go to Hooper's Clinic, I used to train with them, and this is what helped me get to where I am today.
Sure. So do you look forward to ongoing mentorship and guidance, like alumni come back?
Oh yeah, that is the goal. When I started training, what I wanted to do is make sure that the kids learn life skills. So we want our kids to be productive citizens. And that's what basketball teaches. I always tell Yasmyne, basketball is just not about dribbling, shooting. It's about learning life skills, how to communicate with one another, how to build up, you know, someone else, how to play along with the team. So a lot of the kids that are part of our program, what I want to see is them be active in society and learn the different things that we taught them throughout the years, not just the game of basketball.
So do you look at all at their scholastics, you know, what they're doing in school, like how their grades?
Well, we have a lot of kids. It all depends on the relationship that we have with the parents. I've had personal conversations with some of the kids about what's going on in school. So it all depends on the comfort of that parent and the kid in that relationship. Not every relationship is exactly the same. So,
of course, we try and build relationships with, you know, everyone.
Right,
so,
right. Grandma and Grandpa bring them. You'll talk to them.
We do.
Yeah,
we see a lot.
We
see a lot of families. We see a lot of grandmas and grandpas and uncles and aunties and cousins all coming to support them. We do.
So much fun. How do you plan to keep Hooper's Clinic relevant as things change, you know, as the game changes? I mean, we talked earlier about changes. So how do you plan to keep it relevant?
I mean, basketball itself is relevant. I mean, a lot of people want to be good at basketball. So I think basketball, yes, will always be relevant, and I think everyone's going to need, or people are going to always need training. So I feel like in itself it will stay relevant.
I think we have to provide the best service possible with what we're offering. So the type of people that come into our doors and who we hire, they have to be on a certain level as far as how to teach the kids. That's why I think that we're growing as a business. Like a lot of programs, they'll just have mom or dad help teach the kids. We have a lot of our players
who have played
the game, they understand the game. So that's a little bit different what we do. So that's the most important thing, is that we continue to provide the right type of service. And also the game it changes. So if it changes in the next 5-10 years, we're going to have to make sure that we know exactly what's going on in the game of basketball to continue to get the kids coming to our program.
Right. So would you say that's what keeps you competitive with other programs in the area?
There's a lot of programs in the area
that try to do what we do.
Well, yeah. You know, it's a very competitive market, but the difference is what we're doing is that we're building more of relationship with the families and the kids.
Right. And
like
life skills.
Life skills. It's not all about winning all the time.
What are some of the life skills that you seem to have to keep repeating over and over?
Confidence. Consistency and dedication. Attitude. Making sure that, you know, when things don't go the right way, that you have an attitude towards overcoming it.
And sportsmanship.
Yep.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
And all of this carries into your real life, your day-to-day basis of what you do and how you act.
Yep. Whether it's school, whether it's work.
Yep.
And the most important part is teaching you how to be a team player. You know, you can't always do things by yourself.
Right.
So.
Right. Life is a team sport, right?
It is.
We're all in it together.
Yep.
What message would you give to parents or do you give to parents about young athletes and how to inspire them and continue their development?
So I always tell the parents, listen to your kids sometimes, but also be the guiding light for your kid. Because they are, you know, once again, we're dealing with kids that are age 4 to 17, and sometimes the maturity of a parent will guide their kid in the right direction when it comes to sports as well.
Okay.
So a lot of times we'll have kids that it's not so much that they want to discontinue playing the game of basketball, but they're frustrated with the game of basketball. And that's where that parent comes into play, because they're the ones that can guide them in the right direction for them to continue to stay confident.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. I think, is there anything else you wanted to add?
No.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, and all the different ages. I mean, I'm sure you learn as much as the athletes do.
Yeah.
You know, when you go home, I'm sure you can talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, I've just really enjoyed having you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
This time has certainly flown by for us, and I'm sure it has for you at home. A huge thank you to our inspiring guests from Hooper's Clinic for sharing their vision, their dedication to youth athletics, and commitment to empowering the next generation of athletes. It's been incredible to learn about your passion for basketball and the exciting future ahead for Hooper's Clinic. Thank you for tuning in to Celebrate Michigan, where we continue to highlight everything and everyone in the Mitten State. See you next time.